Hey guys and gals, welcome to the channel, and we appreciate you being here. We're at Glen Helen Raceway today to talk about, you guys want to see this, so let's talk about this. The Pirelli MX32 Mid-Soft, basically a 2.0 version. We did a ride impression, mic'd up the other day, which we might post. It's just not great. The angle of the camera is not great, but at least you can hear me while I'm riding to give you some opinion on what this Pirelli is like. So Pirelli updated the new MX32 Mid-Soft with, as far as the front tire goes, they have a new carcass design, which is a little bit stiffer. The front tire tread design is pretty much the same, but they really focused on the carcass for stability and of course longer life. As you guys know, the Pirelli MX32 original Mid-Soft version was great for about 3 hours, then it broke down, and it wasn't a great tire after that, quite frankly, because right in there you'll be able to see the nylon coming through on the sidewall on the old version. So after about 3.5 hours of the old version, it's basically a wash. You'd have a lot of vague feel in the front end, the carcass would roll, or your tread, not so much the front, but the rear would chunk out. So Pirelli went to work on a redesigned, not their words, but my words, half scoop. As you guys can see here, these are directional tires. They do weigh a little bit more than the old tire, but just over a half a pound, but don't know if you guys really care about that. It is unsprung weight. Carcass has changed on this as well, so there is a carcass update as well as a tread update on the MX32 Mid-Soft. So with that being said, I actually really enjoyed these tires last year if they're new, but once they got worn down, vague front end feel, lots of pushing, the control wasn't there. So, and for you guys out there that want a good race tire, it just simply wouldn't last long. Basically a spec tire lasts about 3 to 4 hours as well. So even though Pirelli wasn't claiming that was a spec tire, the lifespan said something different. So with this new carcass update, from what I can tell, just give you some on-track feel. So right when I get on here, well, first things first, let's talk about installation. Installation is very easy. You guys can imagine when you get your new tires, the opening of the tire here, it's a little bit wider, so easier to get over the rim. On a Dunlop, that opening is fairly small, almost like they're squished down. So spreading that tire open to get it over the tire is not a huge issue, but it's just something that I noticed with the Pirelli over the Dunlop. Again, stiffer than last version of the MX32 Mid-Soft, but still fairly easy to install, so no big deals there. So we are running with this tire 12.5 in the front and 13 in the rear. That is quite a bit of a change from the first version MX32 Mid-Soft, as we had to run up to 14, maybe even 14.5 psi to compensate for that soft carcass. You do not have to do that. I will say this is a 4-hour-old tire, 4 engine hours right there, 4 engine hours right there. This isn't a durability test, so, but I can tell you guys right now, as far as 4 hours go, if this was the original tire, as far as the MX32 Mid-Soft original version, this would be toast. That carcass would be toast, and we'd be throwing those things in the trash just because they would be broke down. As you can see, that sidewall near the rim right there, still good. Nylon is not showing through at 4 hours. So that is an improvement already over the original version. Now, we will ride with these more. Obviously, we're gonna put more time on them. Usually I get about 10 to 12 hours of life here in Southern California on a Dunlop. So we're gonna try to meet that demand and see where these Pirellis lie. But as far as the front tire goes, guys, Pirelli did a really good job of creating a front tire that has good lean angle traction. Excellent, I should say, lean angle traction coming into these corners. And here at Glen Helen Raceway, very shallow ruts, and it's hard to get into sometimes. And if you're a front end steering rider, you're gonna love this tire. It bites in really good. There's a lot of grab. There's not so much grab where you'll have oversteer, but at least you'll feel a lot of tire contact patch leaning into your corners. When the dirt is soft, obviously this is a soft to intermediate tire, it is excellent, but even when the track goes to shit, and as far as shit goes, it means overwatered by the, the staff, or simply when the track just starts to get hard, you still have good tire contact feel on these edges of the knob. So that is an improvement already over the original version of the MX32 Mid-Soft. They do feel a little bit taller as far as the tire itself than the older version. I don't know if you guys will notice that, but I do. And stability as braking goes, excellent. So you can grab a handful of front brake and this tire bites in very nice. So I'm very impressed with the lean angle feel of these Pirellis. For you guys that love that tire stickers, these come with painted yellow Pirellis, so that is something to be noted as well. But again, good lean angle traction. You have a lot of tire contact feel, and for me as a front and steer rider, that's what I'm looking for. Now, the rear half scoop, this is a directional tire. Look at, I'm a big MX14 fan. I use the MX14 in a lot of different conditions. Even when it gets hard, I still prefer the MX14 because the MX14 is great in soft conditions and it's not that bad in hard conditions while leaning. If you can learn how to get on the, you know, the straight part or the middle part of your tire, MX14 isn't bad. So once I started riding with the MX32 Mid-Soft, I noticed that I have similar like MX14 feel on forward bite. So right out of a corner, that soft stuff, this thing shoots out of the corner really nice. I like that with this tread design. And then what's really nice is I can use the edge of my tire a lot more with this tread design over the MX14. Now granted, this isn't a traditional scoop. Pirelli does sell a scoop, but you're kind of getting the best of both worlds, at least for me here at Glen Helen Raceway. Glen Helen isn't known for soft conditions, but it does have soft features around the track, and then the track goes to shit really quick in the afternoon. This is typical Southern California talk, right? So when I rode this the first day, I was really impressed of how quickly and how well it got up the hills at Glen Helen. It shoots out the soft stuff really well. What I do like about this is cornering stability and braking traction. So for me, cornering stability is important when the track goes to, you're going into your corner and then you have a shallow rut and then that middle part of that rut gets blown out. This you can cut down really nice and you have a lot of tire contact feel. So cornering stability, lean angle stability is really much better with this Pirelli than the older version. And then as far as coming down the hills, braking really hard, this has a lot of grab. This tire just seems to stick really well. And then when the track goes to loam and then you have some grease and then back to loam, that greasy area always was a problem on the older tire. This is an improvement over that. So braking traction is pretty amazing. Now, if you're a rider that likes to brake slide his way around, or like, let's think of a bowl turn, right? You're coming into the bowl turn and then you rear slide your rear end around. This tire isn't great for that. It has so much grab, it is very difficult to pivot your rear end around because it has so much grab. I don't personally mind that. I kind of like that because I want a lot of feel. But it is difficult when you're trying to throw your rear end around and then get on the throttle to kind of bring that rear end around. It takes a little bit more finesse than the older tire as well as a Dunlop. So that could be a negative or a positive depending on what you ride and how you ride. So first impressions, look at 4 hours on this, not a lot of time, but the life itself looks pretty good for 4 hours out here. Again, Glen Helen isn't the softest of tracks, and it has a lot of feel, some contact feel, which I look for in a tire. Another small negative for me, it doesn't have the carcass comfort as the previous MX32 Mid-Soft version. So bump touch, bump contact is a little bit firmer with these tires than the older tire. Pirelli says you can adjust tire pressure to compensate, but I don't know if I'm willing to do that because I'm not running ultra heavy duty tubes. Now, if you're on heavy duty tubes, you probably can drop your PSI maybe 1 to 1.5 down, but right now we stayed at 13 and then 12.5 in the front. So Pirelli did a great job. It is a better tire. I am going to stack these up against the Dunlop MX34s, and then we'll see how that works. We're going to do a little comparison here on the channel as well on my website. I'll think about posting that live ride impression of the tire here up on my channel, but again, it's not a great view. Basically, you're kind of looking down like this, and I'm talking, so I'm going to work on that view for you guys here. But nonetheless, tire is about as much as the older version, so you're looking about a little over $100 for the rear, and then about $85 to $95 for the front. You can get that over on Rocky Mountain atvmc.com. Don't forget to click that banner on my website. That helps us out a little bit over here. But I'm excited to try some new tires. Look, I'm pretty finicky when it comes to tires. I'm a pain in the ass, so it's hard to please me. I know a lot of you guys out there want some more tire tests with durability in mind, but as of right now, we're looking for tires that are trying to meet in the middle. You're gonna have some performance as well as some durability. In the world of tires, tested tires a long time in my life, and I can tell you, you're gonna either get one or the other. If you want durability, you're not gonna get great performance or great lean angle traction or great forward bite. Now, if you're looking for more performance-based, the longevity might not be that great. So we're gonna try to see if we can get 10 to 12 engine hours. That is quite a bit of time. I don't know how much you guys ride, but 10 to 12 engine hours might take you guys out there quite a bit of time to get through. So good job to Pirelli out there. A unique design. It is kind of a lower, flatter knob design for a soft to intermediate tire. So very unique, great feeling tire. Good job, Pirelli. We're gonna stack these up against the Dunlops here shortly, so stay tuned to the channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, tell me I'm ugly, whatever you want out there. I know, I'm sorry you gotta look at my face, but try to keep it real around here. And our job is to give you guys the most information, hopefully direct you guys out there for a correct purchase. Tires aren't cheap, so if it was my money and I wanted to go away from a different company and try a different tire, I think Pirelli's great. Pirelli did a great job, so check them out. Rocky Mountain atvmc.com. We'll see ya on the next one. See ya.